Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are continuing the discussion on open standards for social media and social media platforms that are based on these kind of open platforms, because last week I was making my video on a podcast where the podcast guest basically laid down the premise of social media based on open standards and run by small independent companies instead of one huge centralized authority over the whole social network that is the current model for social media in the world, or at least this is the dominant model. But that podcast guest, that social media expert had no idea whether these social media platforms exist based on open standards, and just said like whatever, probably, but it's not really what I want to talk about. And so I made a little fun of that, and the thing is that at that time the only extra knowledge I had compared to that expert is that I knew exactly that these social media platforms exist that are based on open standards, and I also knew the name of a few of them and the standard they use, but I didn't really have any experience with them. I didn't really use them much, but that experience, just listening to that podcast, that made me realize that we have to pump up the numbers. We have to pump the numbers up for the open social media sites. So I did my part. I registered on decentralized.com for my first ever microblogging account. This is a Mastodon instance, and well, you can see that I have two posts here, which are called toots, I guess. And one of them is basically the video I made last week on that social media expert. So I just registered here minutes after uploading this video, and well, this was my first post. And I also posted once more for the Open Suspect project, because I wrote the devlog for the Open Suspect project last week. So you can see I'm not really super active here, but I decided to do this because we need to pump up these numbers, and I also wanted to learn a little more about these open social networks, so these open source and open standard based social media platforms, so I can advocate for these things a little more efficiently, and I can really be aware of their advantages, disadvantages, and things like that. So in today's video, what I want to go into a little more detail is how these social media platforms operate and what can we do on them. So last week's video on YouTube, I got a comment that, well, you cannot say that you don't use social media because you are using YouTube, you are using Odyssey, and those video platforms are social media. And I tried to argue that, well, I just put on videos and interact with my commenters, and well, I'm not really using it as social media, but actually, because I am interacting with my commenters, so I'm interacting with other users, and basically anyone can post videos and anyone can comment on the videos and then comment on the comments and things like that. That probably makes me a social media user just by making these videos, even though I myself feel bad about being a social media person. But anyways, this is what it is, so I guess I will just have to embrace that I use social media for some purposes, while I still can say that I'm not really using social networking sites. Anyways, let's get into the meat of the matter, which is centralized versus decentralized social networks. So the status quo at the moment is centralized services, so all these big social media platforms are in the hands of singular legal entities, large companies that are generally based in the Silicon Valley in the United States of America. These companies fall under the United States law, the jurisdiction of the United States federal government, and well, they own and operate their whole service by themselves. They own their servers, they own the intellectual property rights to this proprietary technology that makes this service possible to work. While the decentralized case, of course, we have a loose connection of a lot of small providers which provide some interoperability between their servers, and this is how they provide the social media networking. So basically, one of the biggest thing is that the centralized social media platforms can do is just massive data collection. They just collect all the possible data on all their users, because all the users are using the same servers, so they can correlate this data. They can form good predictive models which can help them with content moderation, but we all know that they are selling that data for profit, while the decentralized servers cannot really do that. They don't really collect data because they are based on open standards that are generally, so the decentralized nature itself doesn't really preclude from data collection. It basically stops you from like the large scale data harvesting, but what makes these decentralized platforms even more privacy focused is that they are based on open standards, so they disclose everything by nature what they are doing, and that can hinder their content moderation efforts. So as I guess Brian Lunduk put it in his video called "The Case Against the Fediverse," if I find it, moderation on these federated decentralized platforms is a nightmare by design. So it's much more difficult because of the structure is built up, so a lot more of this falls on administrators of these certain instances. But as this other article that I found, if I can just click the right buttons here, I can show it to you. So this article on medium.com says that the decentralization means that instance owners individually have to bear smaller costs. There's no central body being pressured to make a profit in order to run servers that support millions of users. The effect of this many owners structure is that decisions that concern any particular instance and rules that it might want to adopt are made by the instance's community or the instance owner. So there is much more responsibility put on the users and the admins of the specific instances. So content moderation wise, for example, if your instance like goodguys.com Mastodon instance receives a lot of harassment from users on evilguys.com's Mastodon instance because evilguys.com does not enforce good moderation principles, your goodguys.com administrator can decide just to ban all traffic from that other site, or the users can themselves ban. So okay, so I can say like, I just want to ban this user from interacting with me because this person's annoying, but I can also do like, I want to ban everyone from that instance because that's quite clear that what I called it, the badguys.com Mastodon instance, for example, does not enforce good policies. So anyone who's on that instance, I just don't want them to bother me. So we can do that. And so basically, the question comes down to who should run the decentralized social media instances. And today, what is happening is these are usually like community supported. Maybe someone is doing it like a DistroTute, which I registered on. This one is run by a YouTuber or a video content producer who got the funding for this server from the Patreon account, I guess, and the donations for the YouTube channel. And some others people just have direct donations to run these servers. But when I was younger, so maybe in high school, early high school years, what was a very usual thing is that your internet service provider, for example, gave you email address. So maybe if you subscribed for the internet access, then you got like 3 email addresses, so 3 people in your household could have an email address at that service provider. And I wouldn't have a problem if like internet service providers would start to run their own instances of these social media platforms for their own subscribers. Or if you are going to go to like a more socialized, in a political sense, cities or counties could be running their own instances for relatively low costs from their city budget, county budget, for example. If you think that's a good idea to give like these state agencies these kind of powers just as a service to the public good, they could provide these social media platforms. Or the other thing is like what is happening right now. So maybe celebrities should do their own instances for their fan base, or I don't know, politicians for their supporters, and they can all enact their own kind of content moderation rules that are in accordance with the principles they hold. So I think these would be kind of a good idea, and so I would like to propose to everyone who is unsatisfied with how these mainstream social media platforms, maybe they feel like these mainstream social media platforms are suppressing their ideology, they are suppressing themselves. What they shouldn't do is just go for another large centralized type social media platform. What they should be doing is that they should allocate some funds to run their own social media instances of decentralized networks that have already been tested, that are based on these open source platforms. So, like the whole community of nerds can basically work on making this software better. And so, as like the final part of this video, I wanted to share my personal experience with Mastodon and this ActivityPub standard. How can we use this? So basically what it provides me, this ActivityPub protocol, let me follow people on other Mastodon instances, so we don't have the problem that we have with the big centralized proprietary social media networks. That means that my social media network will only be worthy of people joining if I already have a lot of people, because I can spin up a Mastodon instance, and if I only have 2 people on that instance, that doesn't matter, because those 2 people can interact with anyone who is registered on any Mastodon instance. But this ActivityPub even goes further than that. And that you can interact with Mastodon users on other Mastodon instances, that makes Mastodon a good competitor, or at least like a reasonable competitor to a microblogging site that is based on proprietary standards and is run by a centralized company. So basically, these small instances together using the ActivityPub is competing with the one large company. But it gets even better, because this ActivityPub standard is not just used by one type of social media. It can be used by many different types of social media. And if we really want our decentralized social media platforms to be better and be a good and really a good competitor to these centralized social media networks, we should be doing something that they don't do. And that is that I should be able to follow people with my Mastodon account on different types of social media. Alright, in the next part of the video I wanted to do some live demonstrations of the capabilities of using this ActivityPub standard. So if you can see, this is my home site on the distrotute.com Mastodon site. So what I can see is all the things that I am following on Mastodon. And you can see Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is an account registered at a different server at mastodon.social. Or if I go down and find some of my subscription here, Destination Linux Network is registered at the Linux Rocks at online, and if I click on them to see all their toots or posts, as they call them, toots on Mastodon, I can still see them here. I'm still on my own site, on DistroTute, where I am registered. But if I just click on their icon there, it will bring up a new site, and it will load up their site on their own main server. So now we are on linuxrocks.online, and I can check that by clicking on the Mastodon icon in the top left corner here, and it will tell us that we are on the Linux Rocks server and linuxrocks.online. If I want to register, I can. I don't want to. Why? Because why would I? I can just click. If I want to see who are the people on this site, I can just click there. And for example, let's see, I want to, I don't know, I really want to be up to date with the Manjaro ARM community. So you can see that we have a follow button here, and if I click on that, it will actually load up a new window where I can just proceed to follow. If this is like the first time you are on linuxrocks.online, this field will be empty and you will have to type in. So this will look like this, and your name registered is Nice Micro, and you are on the DistroTute server, so you are typing in Nice Micro at distrotute.com and just say proceed to follow. and it will bring you to the decentralized.com. So because you are not registered on the Linux Rocks website, you have to go redirected to the site you are registered at, which is decentralized.com, and then press follow. And if I just close this window and just let me go back to my home site, I can go back, let's say home. Let me refresh this, and let's just start scrolling down here. Yeah, so you can see here there is Manjaro ARM boosted, a Linmob Linux on mobile accounts post, and so that's why because I'm subscribed to Manjaro ARM, even though it's on like so this original post is coming from fostodon.org, which is another Mastodon instance which was boosted by Manjaro ARM, which was on the Linux Rocks website, and then it appears on my feed on the decentralized.com site. So this is how this ActivityPub makes it possible that no matter which Mastodon site you are registered on, you can follow and you can boost, and you can boosting is basically just reposting someone else's post, and you can also reply to that. So we could just click here and see all the replies. So you can see that someone from socials.tch and cs.de also replied to this. But this is not where this whole thing stops, and what I wanted to show you is Peertube. So Peertube is kind of a federated, decentralized video sharing social media site, which is also based on the ActivityPub protocol. And so in general, in one account, so here Chris Ware has an account, and so Chris Ware has this For the Fediverse channel, this UOOU channel, and there is also the Gaming with Werewolves channel that is available from this user, and you could subscribe to this channel separately, but unfortunately for me it didn't seem to work if I want to subscribe with a Mastodon account to just one channel. But I can subscribe here using my nice micro at distrotoot.com account, and it will just give me a pop-up window, and in this pop-up window I am redirected to distrotoot.com, and I can follow Chris Ware at share.tube. And now if I am going back to my home site, maybe let me just refresh again, and once it's loaded and I am scrolling down here, what I can see is that the video that has been posted here, so this is, I guess this is this video, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Gaming with Werewolves, and this appears just like a post, and if I click on it and I click on this play icon, I guess it will even load the video itself on DistroToot, and I can watch this through Peertube, which I'm not going to do that right now. But what is even better than this is I can actually just open up this video if I want to, and I can just comment here, which is it's going to be very, very awesome. So let's just type in my name and my server and remote interact. I need to allow to open the pop-up window, and the thing is that if I just say reply here, and I can say I find it awesome that I can comment here with my Mastodon account, and I just say toot, and of course it appears just the same. If I would comment on any Mastodon posts, it will appear as like a reply to a Mastodon toot. But what's making it like really nice is that if I just let me reload this page now, or this ShareTube page. Let's wait until it loads. So you can see that this is kind of one of the problems with these federated sites, that video sites require a lot of processing power, and of course, bandwidth, which can be a problematic. And now you can see that my post that I posted a comment here on Mastodon that just appears here on Peertube as a comment. Really nice. I really like this, that I can do that, and well, I can just go back here. I could use the same thing, just boost and post it on my own Mastodon site, but what I want to do is I just want to delete this because this is irrelevant to this video. And so this comment, probably the deletion might propagate slowly in these kind of federated networks, even more slowly than like the addition of the comments. I don't know really, but it should be deleted from here too, I guess. Probably Chris Ware is getting already some notification, and then when he goes there, he will just see that there is one comment, but he won't see any comments. Anyway, so this integration is very nice. I think this is something that could enhance the kind of the advantage of using these decentralized platforms that are based on open standards instead of using the centralized things. Unfortunately, this is not 100% universal. So for example, we have PixelFed, which is a federated photo blogging site, photo blogging type of social network. So of course, if you register any PixelFed instance that's in this federated system, you will be able to follow anyone on any server, similarly how we do on Mastodon. But unfortunately, if I just click likes and I wanted to like this, I cannot do it using the remote interaction from Mastodon. And the same goes, unfortunately, with this Plemora instances. So Plemora is also microblogging, but it's also unfortunately doesn't work doesn't have any interoperation with Mastodon, which is really a shame. And I really hope, so this is my biggest hope for these open standard based social media networks, that by providing this kind of interoperability, so it's not like you can use the whole Mastodon network just by registering on one Mastodon server only, but you could use any of these social media sites. And of course, you are not allowed just to upload on any server. Basically, what you can actually do is put stuff on the server that you are registered to. So I am registered on distro2.com, so all my posts will appear or will be stored in this server, even if I make a comment on a video that is stored on this this Peertube instance. But there is a connection between them. So that's what I mean by interoperability, that I can just get a video from here, submit a comment which is stored on my site, but will be available on this Peertube instance as a comment there. And I think this should be the future. This, at least if what the future should be is making the internet better for the users of the internet, then I think this should be the direction we should be going forward. Alright, I think I will finish my video on this note, and well, you can, give a comment down below if you have anything you disagree with, or if you just like this video, you can always give a thumbs up or upvote or whatever, or you could just check out my Mastodon profile, where I will also be posting my videos, and you can repost them on your side, and you can leave any comments there too. And yeah, just follow me on Mastodon, follow me on any of the video sites I am publishing on if you are interested in this content. I am probably going to make a little more videos about these federated social networks in the future, but this is not going to be my main profile going forward. So only subscribe here if you are interested in free software and Linux and programming and technology and in general. So yeah, do that, and I will see you in the next video, I guess. Hopefully. Bye bye.